Assalamu alaikum. Hello everyone. Today we have another lesson, Mega Goal 6. But before we start the new lesson, let's take a quick recap for the previous lesson. In the previous lesson, we started the 5th unit with the first lesson, which is listen and discuss. We've talked about the title of this unit, Express Yourself. And we said that in most of the lessons that we are going to study and learn in the following unit is going to revolve around this idea, express yourself. We will know or we will learn many ideas about how to express our own opinions, how to share our own opinions, and also to share our feelings and so on. We started the first lesson, which is express yourself. Number 1, listen and discuss. We've talked about the questions that we've read together before we start reading the facts about the English language and the languages in general. After that, we've read these fascinating language facts and we've explained some of the words like good fortune, prosperity, longevity, and auspiciousness. Then we went to the second page where we had 4, 5, 6, and 7. Then 8, 9, 10. We read each one of them. We explained some of the ideas. Then the last part was English language facts. We've read some of the facts or fascinating facts about the English language. Then after that, the last part was quick check, and it is divided into 2 parts, vocabulary and comprehension. In the vocabulary part, we've had 7 words that we explained their meanings and we matched them with their synonyms. We started with the first one, which is acquire, and we said if you acquire a language, that means you learn a language. Number 2, consecutive, which means one thing after another. The third word is currently, which means in the meantime. Number 4 is extinct, which means or refer to anything that is not existed anymore. For example, you say dinosaurs are extinct animals. After that, we have the word immense, which means huge. Number 6, routinely, something happens regularly. And the last word, solitary, alone, or lonely. And the answers for each one of them is as the following. After that, the second part of this exercise and the last part of the previous lesson is comprehension. We read all these statements. We've learned how to identify the correct and the false ones. And by following what? We've learned how to identify the false and correct or the true statements by doing the scanning. We find or we identify the key words in the statement. For example, in the first one, we have the word English and we have most spoken language. These are keywords in this statement. Underline these keywords and after that, go back to the essay or to the article or whatever you have and go scanning. After you scan, you will find the information you're looking for. Then you will know if it's true or false. If it's true, that's fine. Just put T or the word true. If it's false, write F, then rewrite the correct statement. And the answers for each statement in this part or in this exercise is as the following. Today on page 70, we have a grammar lesson. And this is the third lesson in this unit. In our lesson today will be divided into 3 parts. We will talk about each part. Then after that, we will have an exercise about this part. Then we will go to the second part. We'll have another exercise. Then we will finish the lesson with the third paragraph, the third part with its exercise. Number one, we have the first part of our lesson today, which is adjective clauses and relative pronouns. Now let's talk a little bit about the meanings of the words adjective clauses and relative pronouns. What is the meaning of the adjective clause? What is the adjective? Adjective is any word, or the adjective clause is a sentence that modifies the noun. For example, if we say, he is a tall person. Tall is an adjective. What is the rule of the word tall? It modifies the noun. It gives specific features for the noun. By using this adjective, we have known that he is a tall person. We have learned some of his features. So the adjective clause modifies the noun that comes before it. After that, we have relative pronouns. We have in this lesson, or we will focus on this lesson on the relative pronouns. They are the word who, which, and where. Who, which, and where. We use who to refer, or if we talk about people, and we use which if we talk about things or animals. Now let's go ahead and read the first idea. An adjective clause is a dependent clause that describes or gives information about the noun that comes before it. So this is an adjective clause. What is the rule of the adjective clause? It gives a description or information for the noun that comes before it. Okay? Where is the relative pronoun in this clause? It is the word who. Why did we use the word who? Because we are talking about a person. I know a person. So if we talk about people, we use the word who, or we can use the word that. Both are correct. After that, the language that she or he speaks at home is Spanish. We can use the word that or the word which. Relative pronouns relate clauses to nouns in adjective clauses. Use the relative pronoun who for people and which and that for things. Let's put in mind that the relative pronoun that can be also used when talking about people in general. But when we talk about a particular person, who is preferred. When we talk about a person or someone we know, we should use the word who. It is better to use the word who than using the word that. For example, she is the kind of person that is always there for her friends, or the tutor who helps me with my English is very kind. We used who because we are talking about a specific person, the tutor. Now we have the first exercise of our lesson today, which is A, match the sentence halves. So we have two halves. The sentences are cut in half. They are divided into two parts. The first one is on the left and the second one is on the right. Okay, what is your task here? Rewrite the sentence using a relative pronoun to join the two halves. So I want you to combine these two halves together, match the suitable two halves together by using relative pronouns. For example, we have number one, a photographer is someone who takes photographs. Number one is an example. A photographer is someone who, why we used who? Because we are talking about a person. And the correct answer is H, takes photograph. So the answer is a photographer is someone who takes photographs. So firstly, you read the sentence, you decide which relative pronoun you should use, who or which. Then after that, find the second half. You can pause the video right now, do the rest of the exercise, and then after that, go back and check your answers with the answers we have here in this board. Number 2, a fashion designer is someone, okay, we have here a fashion designer. This is a job, so we're talking about a person. Okay, what does the fashion designer do? What does he or what does she do? The answer is G, creates clothing. So a fashion designer is someone who creates clothing. Number 3, a flag. So here we are talking about a thing. So which relative pronoun we should use? The proper answer is going to be which. Now we have to determine which one is the correct answer. So it's E. A flag is something which is a symbol of a nation. Number 4, a linguist is someone. Okay, here we are talking about a person. Okay, what does the linguist do? He is a person who studies languages. Number 5, a hammer is something which is used to put nails in a wall. Number 6, an exam is something which tests students' knowledge. Number 7, an electronic reader is something which lets you read books on a screen. Number 8, a vegetarian is someone who doesn't eat meat. Number 9, synonyms are 2 words which have the same meaning. And the last one, number 10, a dictionary is something which gives the meanings of words. Now let's go to the second part. Relative pronouns as subjects of adjective clauses. We've just talked about the relative pronouns and we've talked about the adjective clauses, but we talked about them in general. Now we are going to talk about the relative pronouns as the subject of the adjective clause. Relative pronouns can be the subject of an adjective clause. Relative pronouns that are followed by a verb are subject pronouns that are followed by a verb. For example, we have here, I am someone who loves. This is a relative pronoun that is followed by a verb. Subject pronouns must always be included. Subject pronouns must always be included. Why we should learn that, or why we should put that in mind? Because sometimes the relative pronouns, or it's fine to omit or take out the relative pronoun. It's fine not to say the relative pronoun. But in this case, when the relative pronoun is the subject of the adjective clause, it must be always included. We can't take it out. Okay, how to know that it is the subject of the adjective clause? It is always followed by a verb, like here. Who loves, that have. Now let's go to the first or to the second exercise. B, decide whether the relative pronoun can be omitted in each sentence. If it can, rewrite the sentence without it. If cannot, write no change. So we will read each one and we will decide if we can take out, if we can omit or remove the relative pronoun or not. If it's removable, we are going to rewrite the sentence. If it's not, we will just write no change. We have here an example. My sister never told me the reason that she called. My sister never told me the reason that she called. That here is not a subject of an adjective clause, so it's removable. My sister never told me that the reason she called. Now, you can take some time to do the exercise by your own. Try to determine which one or which relative pronoun is removable and which is not, and after that, come back and check your answers with us. Number 1, the bird that they saw in the museum is extinct. The bird that they saw in the museum is extinct. The word that here is followed by the word they. So it is not, or it's not followed by a verb. So it is not the subject of the adjective clause. So it's removable. The bird they saw in the museum is extinct. Number 2, Melissa cooks dishes that are incredibly delicious. We can't change anything here because the word that is followed by a verb. Number 3, that's not the book that the teacher asked us to get. We can remove the word that here because it's followed by a noun. Number 4, where is the food that I brought home from the restaurant last night? We have the same situation here. It's followed by a noun. The goalkeeper that plays for that team is from my hometown. Number 6, the people who live next door are always very friendly. These two are remain the same. Number 7, John is a person who others can count on. John is a person you can count on. Number 8, do you have another pen that you can lend me? Do you have another pen you can lend me? And we did the rest. We did the same with the rest of exercises. We've removed where it's removable and we keep it where it's the subject of the adjective clause. Now we have the third part of our lesson today. Relative pronouns as objects of adjective clauses. We've talked about the relative pronouns in the previous part as if they are as, or if we use them as the subject of the adjective clause. Now we're talking about them as the object of the adjective clause. Relative pronouns can also be the object of an adjective clause. Relative pronouns that are followed by a noun or pronoun are object pronouns. So if they are followed by a noun or pronoun, they are object pronouns. The difference between the object and the subject is that the object pronouns can be omitted. For example, Spanish is a language that many people find easy to learn. The author put the word that in parentheses. Why? Because that means we can keep the word that or we can omit the word that. Spanish is a language that many people find easy to learn, or we can say Spanish is a language many people find easy to learn. Number 2, there are many words which James mispronounces, or there are many words James mispronounces. Note whom is considered more correct than who when used as the object of an adjective clause. However, whom is very formal. So we don't use it in casual discussions and conversations. In casual speech, either who is used or the relative pronoun is simply left out. So we can say the teacher whom I like, or the teacher who I like, or the teacher I like best is my language professor. We have 3 options here: to say who or whom, or to leave, or to take the whole relative pronoun out. It becomes like the teacher I like best is my language professor. We have an exercise here. Combine each pair of sentences. Use the second sentence as the adjective clause. Now we have 2 sentences. We have here an example. I finally finished reading the book. This is the first sentence. You gave it to me. We have 2 sentences that we want to combine them together to make them one. Okay, how to combine these two sentences together? We will combine them by using the relative pronouns, who and which. Okay? And we will change a little bit in some of the sentences. For example, number one, I finally finished reading the book. You gave it to me. Becomes like I finally finished reading the book that you gave me. That you gave me. Number one, I saw the man. He stole the wallet. I saw the man. We can always use the word that, but which one is more appropriate? Who or which? We're talking about a man. So the answer is going to be, or we are going to use who. So the answer is, I saw the man, he stole the wallet. I saw the man who or that stole her wallet. Number two, the email didn't make sense you sent to me. We're talking about a thing. So which and that. We're going to use which and that. The answer is, the email which or that you sent me didn't make sense. You can pause the video right now and do the rest of the exercise by your own. Number three, we saw a film on TV last night. It was really depressing. So here we are talking about a film. It's a thing. So which is preferred? The answer is, we saw a film on TV which or that was really depressing last night. Number four, the man looked confused. He asked for directions. The man who asked for directions looked confused. Number five, this is the restaurant. We have eaten at the restaurant for 3 consecutive days. This is the restaurant which or that we have eaten at for 3 consecutive days. Number six, the article isn't in the newspaper. You want to read an article. The article which you want to read isn't in the newspaper. Number seven, she lost the necklace. She borrowed it from her mother. So the answer is, she lost the necklace which she borrowed from her mother. Number eight, I know the neighbors. They have 10 children. I know the neighbors who have or who or that have 10 children. Number nine, do you like the textbook? You are using it in that class. The answer, do you like the textbook which or that you are using in the class? Number 10, where can I find the supermarket? It sells organic fruits and vegetables. Where can I find the supermarket which or that sells organic fruits and vegetables? 11, you need to write a research paper. The paper cites at least 3 sources. You need to write a research paper which cites at least 3 sources. After that, we have exercise D. Exercise D is an exercise that you can do by your own, and the answers of each one or of each part in this exercise is going to vary from one person to another because they depend on your opinion of the situation. For example, number one is, I like to eat foods that are healthy. So what are we going to do? We will complete each sentence with an adjective clause. So we will use our own ideas. Number one, or the first example is, I like to eat foods that are healthy. We have 8 sentences that needs to be completed by using or with an adjective clauses. You can pause the video right now, take some time to do the exercise by your own, and after that, go back to check the suggested answers. Okay, number one, English is a language which is spoken in many countries. Number two, I routinely eat foods that are easy to make. Number three, I like people who don't talk too much. Number four, students usually like teachers who are friendly. I sometimes worry that I won't get the job that I want. Number 6, I like books that are funny and light-hearted. Number 7, I have a friend who often borrows money from me. And the last part in our lesson today is I have a job that pays well. Thank you all for attending our lesson today, and I wish you enjoy the rest of the day. Assalamu alaikum.